It is episode number 114. It's cardboard time. I'm loopy as all get out, so I can't even do my own intro right now.
I thought you were trying out a new name or something here.
No, it took too much work to get the one that I have, so that was one thing talking about getting married, that we're not like changing names. At least I'm not. I don't think Allie is either, because it's too much of a hassle.
I mean, now's the time if you're going to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Speak now or forever hold your peace, you know?
Yeah.
You gonna finish that girl?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you, a cop?
what you're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
Okay, let me start this over again and try again. It's Cardboard Time, episode number 114, and I'm your host, Arwen Kathke. And with me today, in the car, on the ride home from Origins,
Live.
we have...
It's me. It's Jamie. It's your favorite Jamie.
It's your favorite Jamie.
The only one you know.
That's right. Not Stegmeyer Jamie.
Nah, forget that guy.
Yeah, no, we don't like him. And we also have somebody in the back that you may or may not be able to hear chiming in from time to time.
With the occasional chip bag rustle.
With a chip bag rustle.
With chips.
She has chips.
This is our friend Chip Bag Russell.
chip bag rustle. He's good. He's a good friend.
Yeah.
That's a Marcus quote right there.
Good friend of the show, Chip Bag Russell.
Chip bag.
He's a blues musician.
He
Hear him playing right now?
he owes me $15.
And he's not legally allowed in the state of Michigan.
Yeah. Well, that's a story for another day, Jamie, because we're talking about Origins.
Yeah.
Or Origins, maybe adjacent topics, who knows. Speaking of which,
There's an object on road ahead.
there you
Speaking of
go.
which, there's an
Now-
object on the road ahead.
Now you know that there's an object on road ahead. I should probably turn notifications off. That would be muted. That would be good. Sure. There's a lot of objects on the road ahead. Anywho's, so we are on our car ride back from Origins Game Fair 2025 from Columbus, Ohio. Overall, I would say a very good convention, but we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about the things that we did during the week. We went down on Tuesday, and now we're coming back on Sunday, so it was a long week. I wound up working part of the time at my normal job.
Ew.
Yeah, it was like a half-day Wednesday kind of thing, and work from the car remotely, which is a nice ability to have on the way down. So that was cool. We moseyed on down Tuesday. Did we do anything on Tuesday? Was there like anything of note on Tuesday at all?
I don't remember.
Tuesday might as well have been last year.
Oh, I know what we did on Tuesday.
Carlos!
Oh, yeah. Steubenville.
Steubenville style pizza.
We got wild.
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, strap yourself in, because we're going to tell you about the lore of Steubenville style pizza. We dropped Jamie off.
You're making that sound so much more exciting than it is. I guess that's your job, though.
It is my job.
Yeah.
It's my job to hype things up, I guess.
You're a great entertainer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try. I believe that you are too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too shabby.
Yeah, I don't think you're too shabby at all. So we dropped Jamie off. We dropped our stuff off at the hotel, and then we decided to go and meet up for Steubenville style pizza. So we went to the Airbnb that Jamie was staying at, and we picked up our friend Amanda Panda, who walked over with us, and joining us was also Thomas Olympian. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
And then his friend JC as well. We picked them up, and we all went.
Two of the founders of the brand new Placeholder Games, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
We will talk about that. it's a big part of my Sunday as well. So, so yeah, that was really interesting because I was telling everybody there's this pizza that you have to try because it's just so incredibly different, and it is considered Ohio Valley or Steubenville style pizza.
I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off real quick because if the nicest thing you can say about a pizza is that it's incredibly different, you might be,
it's incredibly different in a good way.
Something.
I need you to know that I truly enjoyed DeCarlo's pizza.
I do too. I thought it was good.
I took a single bite. Not because I didn't like it. I just didn't want to eat. I wasn't hungry.
Amy was not hungry. She was like, this pizza's weird.
It was crunchy.
It was crunchy. So that's the magic of it, is the fact that you bake the crust and the sauce, and then you put the cold toppings on top of that, and then they kind of partially melt, and everybody is like, well, this is kind of like a grown-up Lunchables pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
DeCarlo's is the home of do-it-yourself, screw it, here's some stuff, go make yourself a pizza. Because if you get takeout, they just bag you up toppings on the side, and then you put them on when you get home. Or if you eat in, you have the luxury of them actually putting the toppings onto the pizza for you.
You know what we also had the luxury of?
Setting up our own tables and chairs.
I need to know now. Am I allowed to swear? Can I swear? I'll do my best not to.
Yeah, I would say do your best not to, but
I'll do my best not to.
If we have some incidents, I don't think that people necessarily mind.
If they do mind, they can they can come to my stream and talk to me about it. Anyway, I was gonna say the reason I asked is because I almost dropped an F-bomb talking about the chairs and the table.
They were like obnoxiously heavy too for something that was.
Here's the thing, folks. If the cell, if your central thrust, if the promise that you're delivering on as an establishment is that I get to do half of the work of what a normal pizza place does, and I still have to pay full price. What is this? What are we doing?
Right.
What?
Right.
At what point do I just get a take and bake pizza? Because it honestly, to me, it reminded me of when you get like a Red Baron pizza from the grocery store and cook it the wrong way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't say yep.
I mean, it kind of is, but it's still good. Like, I like it.
I'm just surprised they didn't make us do the dishes too.
There weren't any dishes. It was a paper box.
Yeah, well.
But I'm sure if there were dishes, we probably would have done them.
People pay a premium for Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
Mind you, that's delicious. But
That's such a good example, though. Kind of mad about it.
I will say,
It is.
other locations you don't have to set up your own table.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the location that went out of business, you didn't have to set up your own table, so apparently that was
It's
part
like
of their charge.
It's like a reverse. It's like a reverse culinary escape room. You have to set it up yourself, and the goal is to not be hungry anymore.
Yeah.
But you have to do all the work.
It's an adventure. It's a culinary adventure.
Oh my god.
That we partook in. It was
We
great.
sure did.
Yeah,
we sure did partake.
They were also not very nice.
Yeah, the guy was like, "What do you want?" And we didn't know because we walk in with 6 people and 4 of them have never had this before. And the guy's like, "Well, 2 of you have had this. You should have given them the whole debrief. You should know what you're getting when you step into this place. How did you not tell them?"
Damn. I didn't get that. I didn't hear that.
I mean, he didn't say that, but that's
That
what
was the
I
vibe.
imagine
That was the vibe,
was
yeah.
going through
Yeah.
his mind at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
DeCarlo's.
That was an experience.
More like Stupidville pizza, am I right?
Stupidville. Listen, I like it. I happen to like it every once in a while. It's not going to be my favorite pizza of all time, but I do enjoy it.
If you lived closer to one, would it be higher on your list?
Yes.
Or
I don't think it would be on mine, but it would be on Allie's.
You would choose to eat it more?
I don't think I would. Because we have so much good pizza in Cleveland.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if I had to choose, like, if it was like Vero or Bogo,
Or death,
and then,
you know, like you.
and then DeCarlo's, obviously DeCarlo's wouldn't be on the table.
Well, then there's also Mikey's
Mikey's
in
is
Columbus.
Mikey's is divine.
Mikey's was divine. We had Mikey's twice.
I feel like people who live in Columbus and probably get Mikey's all the time, they're rolling their eyes right now. They're like,
Yeah.
tourists. Mikey's is good. Okay.
Here's some real good late night pizza that you got to go and get. Tell us in an email, in a missive from 1996, where a good Columbus pizza place is that you're just like, Mikey's is BS.
Mikey's is good, and it's because there's a speakeasy underneath it, and that's cool as hell. Also,
You didn't show me where that speakeasy was.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I only saw you one night after hours.
Yep.
So, and it's only open after 8 p.m.
Yep.
All that said, I will also say, Mikey's plays music videos inside, and I literally, it's been so long since I've like purposefully watched a music video. I forgot how fun they are.
Yeah.
And they're like bringing that back, and I'm here for it. They were playing Aqua when I was in there.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
What a trip! What a treat that was.
Yeah, that's a good treat.
Yeah.
Notable board game podcast, Cardboard Time. Bringing you the true board
The pizza
game
rankings.
the true board game news. Probably like 15 minutes into this podcast.
Hell yeah.
One last thing about pizza, Jamie.
Okay.
Tier list. Where would DeCarlo's fall?
DeCarlo's on my tier list. I mean, definitely above Little Caesars. Don't get me wrong.
First of all, we also like Little Caesars.
I do too. I'll mess up a Little Caesars. You know
The
what I mean?
deep dish, though.
I mean, either
dish
either
Little
or.
Caesars.
Either or. Any
No,
port in a storm.
The
you know?
round is trash, unless you get
It's
the
fine.
pretzel crust.
It's got to be hot and ready, though. That's the key.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway.
it should be a bonus episode, but continue.
You know, we could
We could very well
could
do
hop
that.
on a call and actually make a tier list. You know, like we could do that. Make some video content. Anyway, DeCarlo's falls on. I mean, genuinely, just above grocery store take and bake pizza.
Okay.
Because like at least they do some of the work for you.
That's your opinion. You're allowed to have that.
I mean, I still like and respect a lot of grocery store pizza. Aldi's grocery store pizza.
Those are pretty good.
Those
pretty
are pretty
damn
good.
good.
Especially you doctor them up a little bit.
A lot of people like Costco and that kind of thing. They have grocery store pizza that's pretty fire. I don't know how many booms it gets. You know, I don't subscribe to that particular.
We don't subscribe to them.
to that like ratio. You know,
No.
that like. I don't know what the conversion rate of booms to whatever you eat meatballs. You know, maybe
Yeah.
you vote by meatballs.
Yeah, we could start our own ranking
5
system.
meatballs.
7.5.
Yeah.
The,
All right.
the number doesn't matter. Actually, it's arbitrary.
Well, maybe we'll get back to that on like a call, and we'll call it like Cardboard Time Extras or something like that. Something weird.
Cardboard pizza.
Yeah. You are now also listening to the sultry sounds of Ohio roads, where there's like some weird thing that's going on in the pavement right now. Either that or it's my tires that are going to blow up at some point.
We're gonna find out. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an adventure.
Yeah, it will be an adventure, and you will be listening. So I think the rest of Tuesday, like we went and got ice cream at Jenny's.
Damn right we did.
I know that. I don't think that we played any board games after that. I think we just kind of separated and figured we'd kind of call it for the night.
Watch that worm on YouTube that Jamie told me about.
Oh, we
That
did.
worm?
We watched
That worm?
Marcus.
Put some respect on his name.
We watched Sir Marcus. Jimbo James.
That worm. The disrespect. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So we did that, and then Wednesday was kind of a chill day as well. Allie had some setup to do, and I had to work half the day. After that, I went up to the salon to get my hair done, which was nice. And then I had my parents pick me up, and I got to go to Schmidt's Sausage House.
I thought you said we couldn't swear.
I said Schmidt's.
That was a bad joke. Go ahead.
Schmidt's.
Carry on.
Which was delicious. It's a place that I have meant to go for a long time. It is a German restaurant, which my dad really loves German food. So we had a great time up there. And after that, they dropped me off, and I believe that was the day that we had First Look, Media First Look.
Yes, indeed.
And
I was not there.
Went there.
But that is when it happened.
That is when it happened. Went there, poked around for a little bit, and saw some interesting stuff, which set up, a couple of meetings during the rest of the week. Saw some good friends and stopped at their table. I played a round of Nana Toridori.
Oh, so fun.
It is. It's
fun.
Really good.
This is a rare treat for you and the listeners, because I will tell you, I played more games at this con than I think I have in the past year at all the cons I went to last year. I went to like almost 12 cons last year.
Yeah.
And I played more games this con than I did at any of those.
That's wild.
Combined.
That's good.
Yeah. It's only 4, but still, I mean,
it's better than 0, which is usually the case, especially at Gen Con.
I got to hang out with a lot of people,
Yeah.
This is kind of an overview. I know you're doing your day by day here, but like this one was chill enough that I actually got to spend time with people in the evenings. It was kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was nice.
But yeah.
So Media First Look, Nana Toridori, fantastic game. It's a card shedding game. Akin to Scout, I would say, is probably the most apt comparison that I can make to anything.
Also, incredibly fun to say.
Yeah.
And that's important, I think.
I did also really like the art on it.
Oh, it's so good.
I thought the art was super cute, especially
the toucan with the bow tie? Are you kidding me?
The one bird with the top hat.
Absolutely. That stupid little idiot looked so cute.
Dapper.
It was
Dapper.
I'll have to look it up. I know. Kestrel told me. Ironically enough, Kestrel told me what type of bird it was. Some sort of Japanese tufted titmouse or something. I don't know. Very cute.
Super cute. Really love it. We got to play it later on. I believe it was next night. I think that was Thursday night that we went and played that, and Allie lost. And the rest of us won.
I was about to be like, wow, that's a really aggressive thing to tell. I mean, more than Allie lost. But then I realized it is one of those games where there's only one loser.
There's only one loser.
Yeah. Just like, dang, okay. We're just gonna say when everybody loses?
Yeah.
If you don't get first, you're last.
Nope. Allie lost, and that was it.
And it was the game that I won.
Literally. It was Allie's copy of the game. I did enjoy that quite a bit. Saw a couple of other games that were interesting. One that was called the State Worker Placement game. I did not get to go back and try that, unfortunately, but I would definitely check that out if you are into a good worker placement game with evolving scoring conditions and things like that. I think that's a really cool example. I'd like to sit down and play with it at some point. And that was mostly it that I'm not going to talk about later. So that was my Wednesday night, and I think pretty much went back after that. I'm not positive, but I think that was about it. had set up and then you had to go there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we walked back to the hotel.
Yep.
I think that was it. Jamie, anything else happen interesting on Wednesday?
Nope.
Nope.
I didn't do a whole lot until more or less Friday. I was doing a lot of bouncing around this con. Between painting at our friend Olympian's booth and helping out with the paint and take and teaching a couple classes. As usual, painting took up a decent bit of my con, but not all of it. Not all of it.
Yeah.
I will say. Wednesday, again, might as well have been a year ago. I don't even know. I think I got back kind of early, which was nice. It was like another bonus. Not only did I get to spend time with people, but I actually got back to my room at a normal time.
Mm-hmm.
Got a decent bit of sleep. I think I got more sleep this con than I normally do too. So she's a self-care girly.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do.
Hell yeah. I was gonna. You know what? They had a clawfoot tub in my Airbnb, and I was so hell bent on having a bath, and I didn't. I regret it. I could have done it.
Could have done it with the bubbles.
Could have done it with the bubbles.
You could have taken some photos for your Patreon. Only $3 a month for feet pics.
That's
ladies and
right.
gentlemen.
That's right.
That's
Honestly,
great.
it's a good deal.
It's a great deal. You really should have charged
$5 to get me to stop. You know.
Hey. We don't talk about ourselves like that. We want to be positive.
Positive about my dogs.
Positive about your dogs.
Okay.
So I guess we can move on to Thursday.
Now that we're done talking about my
Now
feet.
we're done talking about your feet. So my Thursday was a lot of not conventions. Well, my Thursday morning was a lot of not convention stuff. I actually wound up meeting up with my parents. So they were down here. They live up in Buffalo, but they were down here for my wedding dress fitting, for one thing. So I went to do that, paid a alterations bill, which wasn't as bad as I was expecting, but I have other things to pay for on that. And then they actually came to the convention after that, and I got to show them around. My mom is very interested in puzzles, so she got to go and see Cobble Hill and Boardwalk and chat with the puzzle vendors that were there. Origins actually does have kind of a growing scene of puzzle competitions. They have a little area in the back that they host different puzzle competitions and have team puzzling and solo speed puzzling and all sorts of stuff that my mom got to learn about and see and check out, and she was pretty amazed by that. I also got to introduce her to a lot of my friends, which was amazing. And she did make the comment, that she goes, you have a lot of very, very nice friends. And I said, yes, I do. And that's why I go to conventions, to go see my awesome friends and play board games.
I'm glad she said that after re-meeting me.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't spend a lot of time with me though, so
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm a nice person.
You are.
I'm a nice person.
You are. So that was good. They eventually got tired, walked them back to their car, and then I strolled around the hall a little bit. And I'm not sure if I think we went to, we might have gone to North Market or something for dinner. I can't quite remember what we did for dinner on Thursday. But I think that was the night that we went back to play games back at the convention center, maybe? I'm thinking, maybe?
You should have wrote this down.
Probably.
I should have wrote this down. Usually I do. But yeah, I think we went back to the convention center, played some games. We played a couple of small box games. I do remember Nana Toridori was definitely one of those small box games. So that was definitely a good time. I played a couple of rounds of that, and I think there was another game that we played that I can't quite remember, and my apologies for not remembering
It
that.
was the one with the patterns and the numbers.
Oh, that was Double Play. Double Play? Double Down? It was a last night game.
I love last night games.
I, in particular, love last night games bags.
Oh, 100%. Best in the biz.
Absolutely. Like,
Best in the biz.
I was very sad that they ran out before I could get my hands on another one. As I did buy the Panda Royale expansion.
Panda Royale's a lot of fun.
It's very good.
I like that little game.
It's quite a good game.
I will say, I think there's a missed marketing opportunity here. Now, I know a lot of people are picking up on the fanny pack being like a fun peripheral, like as part of a package deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of these companies could really benefit from having freebies. Freebie fanny packs.
Well, 25th Century was kind of doing that in a way with Green Team Wins. We
Right.
had a free Green
Right.
Team Wins
With
fanny pack.
purchase. I'm saying any purchase.
Oh.
You get fanny pack.
Gotcha.
See, that's why I think they took over in the 80s and 90s. They were everywhere. Everyone gave away,
Button shy fanny packs.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
That'd be great.
Either that or Oink Games. You could fit a couple of Oink Games in a fanny pack.
Absolutely.
Just saying. That
That's
could
a
be
free
a thing.
one. That's a free one.
You can have it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we definitely did play a couple of games. I think that was with Charlotte and Patrick and Amanda, Ellie. Were you there, Jamie?
I don't think I was there
Jamie
that
was
night.
getting a haircut.
You were. Oh yeah, that's the night that you were getting a
My
haircut.
midnight haircut. No. I realized the night before I did have. I was gaming with Amanda and our new friend Dicey Vim and Ben, Cosmic Ben,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was Board Game Mama over at North Market. We were playing Anomia,
Oh
which is an oldie but a goodie.
yeah,
Anomia is a lot of fun.
yeah,
First time I played that was with our dear, dear sweet friend Ray.
yeah.
And I saw it in my friend's bag, and I'm like, oh, I love that game. And she was like, let's play it. And I'm like, heck yeah. So we did. Anyway, that was game one for me. Yeah, that night, though, that you guys were down there, I was getting my midnight haircut.
Can you talk about what was up with that? Because I'm kind of curious now.
Sometimes I like to let the air of mystery linger,
Okay.
Like when I'm walking around a con, I'm like, yeah, I'm going up to someone's room to get a haircut. And they're like, it's 10:30. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
it's just how I roll, So listen, here's the thing. I try to leave room for whimsy in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes
Sometimes that leads to a midnight haircut.
sometimes leads to a midnight haircut. The person that runs the hobby events is also a cosmetologist and runs a cosmetology school down in Texas. And she brings her shears with her to shows and offers free haircuts to those of us who she knows, which is a
That's really cool.
really nice service that she offers. And I got my hair cut a little more mullety.
Mm-hmm.
It's time,
Mhm.
While it's in style, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for the
Go for it.
partial mullet.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and dang, it was worth it. I came back and everybody was like, "That's nice. That's a nice almost
Yeah.
mullet."
Yeah.
And I said, "That's what you get for trying out a midnight haircut,
Yeah.
midnight hotel haircut."
You never know what you're gonna get, and that's the adventure.
I would argue that is in and of itself a game that I played as well. So I rolled the dice on that,
You did.
and it came up double sixes, baby. Unless double
Yeah.
sixes is bad in this game, but then I got double ones.
No, I think that was double sixes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Boxcars.
Yeah. Let's talk about the people that we missed. Well, you
Oh
were
my
bringing
God.
up Ray.
All right.
Miss Ray, Miss Olivia.
Holy moly.
We miss Maddie.
I didn't realize how much I rely on those people to like help fill my social calendar while I'm at these events. I think it's common misconception that, you know, I end up being around or seeing a lot of people at these things, and it's not untrue necessarily. But when I was like, you know, after hours and just kind of like realizing I didn't have anything planned, I would just kind of look around and realize that my like normal friends aren't there, and I'm like, man, what do I do? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And you know, we were like 2 ships passing a lot of the time, so it's like not even we could like hang out. But I will say, last night in the free play hall, there was a young woman walking around with a black bob, and I swear I turned at least 3 times and saw it and got so excited because I forgot I thought it was Ray.
Yeah.
I forgot that she wasn't at the show.
Yep.
And I just kept getting myself all excited. I miss all of our friends.
Miss
But
Shimmy too.
Yeah, we miss Shimmy. We miss Lauren. We missed Jillian.
I got to see Jillian actually.
At Origins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Only there for one night though.
Yeah, I literally caught her walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
That's it.
Trying to think. There's a whole ton of people that that I'm not
Rotating cast of
mentioning.
besties.
Liz Davidson. Actually, that was one thing talking with Chris High during our meeting, which I'll talk about coming up next. But yeah, that was one thing. He goes, you know, I really miss Liz, and I said, yep, I do too. I really miss Liz. You know, out of the normal cast of characters that's here, there were quite a few people who, you know, whether they normally attend through their company or, you know, Brooke's another one. You know, sadly, not there. And, you know, we miss everybody. So, if you're listening to this, we missed you and hope that we get to see you soon.
Damn right.
Ain't gonna be during Gen Con.
Well,
Spoilers.
I might see you at Gen Con.
Yeah, you might.
If I find somewhere to stay.
You might be doing the Gen Con.
Can you record a coming home podcast for Gen Con?
Yeah. But what I'll do is I'll only record my half,
Okay.
and I'll just pretend that you're talking in between, and like you
Okay.
can then take my half of the recording, and then record your half using mine as prompt. Yeah.
Where I say, like, I sat at home and played with the dog.
And you can imagine for a second, Arwen's not talking, and my side of it would just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
all right,
Cool.
that sounds good.
Yeah. That's very insightful.
That sounds like a good time.
Fantastic. So I think that was almost it for Thursday. I think the last thing on Thursday was Allie and I went over to Mikey's Late Night Slice to pick up a couple of slices of pizza. I got the pepperoni, and Allie got the Mushroom Madness, Mushroom Kingdom.
Mushroom Kingdom. That thing was so good.
That was fantastic.
Ooh, what a tasty treat.
And the unicorn Rice Krispie treat.
That's pretty good. You like Fruit Loops a lot more than I do, though.
Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, Fruity Pebbles.
Get it right.
Those are 2 very different
Those are-
cereals.
It's the same damn thing. It's a different shape.
No, it's not. I will not stand for this.
One's a C tier and one's an S tier.
Whoa.
You know what?
Okay.
I'll back her on that.
So, Fruity Pebbles is
Peak.
the S tier.
Yep.
Peak.
And just because of the shape, or is it a flavor thing?
It's kind of the everything about it, actually.
I would
Okay.
all like Rice Krispies are up there for me. Cocoa Pebbles maybe not S tier, but they're up high.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it's a
See
texture
that.
thing. And the way it mixes with marshmallows. Which
Yeah.
is one of my favorite foods, marshmallows.
I love a marshmallow.
Part of your food pyramid,
Yes.
the marshmallow tier.
That's why we get along, Allie.
Yes. Only that.
Yeah, nothing else.
So let's, I think we can get into Friday now. My Friday was crazy. Starting at 11 a.m., I had 7 hours of meetings. And when I say 7 hours of meetings, I mean 7 hours of meetings. There was maybe a maximum of about 20 minutes in between that I was able to go and do something. But I did start off my day playing the Game Makers. If you listened to the last podcast, it was one of the games I was very excited about that I kind of found out about last minute that Bezier wound up doing. And I was kind of, my expectations were kind of subverted about this game because I thought that it was going to be something like a Kanban EV where it dealt with process flow and, you went through the design of making a game and play testing and, the proofing and manufacturing and all that other stuff. And this wound up being a lot simpler. With it being by the designer of Fromage, it had some of those elements and flavors in there. That you had the worker placement mechanism where you basically got to pick up your workers that were on a certain spot. You got to put them 1, 2, or 3 spaces away, and the power of your action depended on where you put them. And all the actions were different because it was like a 6-spot track, and you had like 5 different resources that you could pick up from the track. It was very satisfying. Like, as far as a mechanism, I thought that it was really cool. There's a few things that you can do on your player board. It does look very intimidating, but the core action of that central wheel and that is very simple to pick up. So I think this is going to be a game that is something that's going to look very intimidating on the table because there's a lot of tracks in different areas and that, but honestly, everything is very intuitive. It flows well. I'm really excited for it. And the best part about it is all the games that they have in there are licensed from different publishers. So they had conversations with all these different publishers that range from a 20-second conversation where they said yes halfway through to different companies that they had to go up the chain of command and back down it again and really have some negotiations. There were some that couldn't be included right away just due to the time that it took to get those in. So potentially some expansion content as well.
I thought that was a charming little a gimmick there.
Yeah.
I hesitate to call it a gimmick, but I thought it was just a charming idea.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Did you get to play it at all? Or?
No, I didn't.
Gotcha.
That night I played Mushroom Cats, which was extremely fun.
Cool.
Art on it was very cute. It's just a very simple set collection game. You're playing cards of different cats, and various ones present you with the options of getting certain points based on how many or how few you have, and then some of them have negative interactions that you can then use other cats to force upon your opponent, and just a clever little small box game that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I played Nanatori Dori that night too.
Yeah.
Again, so fun to say that. Just everybody at home, Nanatori Dori. Just take a moment.
Yeah.
Say Nanatori Dori. Very
There you
good.
go.
Very
That
good.
was-
Nice job.
That was 10 out of 10.
sounded so good. Nice job.
It was great. I really
Hope
like
you're
that.
proud of yourself.
Yeah. It's such a fun thing to say. It really is.
It is.
Wildly fun.
I'm very happy to say I got to see Helena multiple times this weekend as well.
Yeah,
It's
I
always
got
a
to see her a
delight.
couple of times as well.
Always a delight.
It seemed like she was kind of taking some breaks for herself. And really,
Very much so. And won 2 Origins Awards.
yeah, no kidding. Congratulations
Fantastic.
to that entire team.
For real, though. And what a good team it is. They're
Yeah.
all so sweet.
They're all excellent people. We love going over there to that booth.
KTBG is one of the good ones.
They're truly one of the real ones. was on Saturday, in which Sean was basically like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Because we basically stay in constant communication anyway, so
Sure.
it's like, I know what they're coming out with. I did get to, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I would like to get ahead of myself for a moment. Would you like
Yeah.
me to tell you what I pitched to Sean as an idea?
Yeah.
Because I've had this idea since last Gen Con. I told him I would love to play lairs with my chat on stream.
Yeah.
I create a lair, I upload a PDF of the game, and they all play. Thought it'd be super fun. He really liked it, so I think we may end up doing that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good game to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
So that would definitely be fun.
I gave Jamie a game for the stream too.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, that's a great segue too, because I also got a copy of Cafe Barras while I was there.
Yeah.
But I did get. Sorry, is it Casting Call? Is that what I keep
Cast
forgetting?
List.
Cast List. Yes, thank you. I got Cast List from Cast List. But
Cast List
I
from
thought that would
Cast.
land better. It did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm tired. They're not
we all are.
They're not all gonna be winners.
We all are.
But no, I'm very excited about that. Make a little channel point redemption to get a little movie trivia.
Yeah.
I love movies. We can't talk about that. We'll get way too off base.
We will definitely get off base if we do that.
But I will say, if you haven't seen Sinners yet, definitely go see it.
I need to see that
Very
still.
good. Oh, we're already doing it. We can't.
So, my meetings on Friday ranged from All Play to Capstone. I will say some of the highlights from those meetings, and a couple of things to be excited about. All Play, I picked up a few games to talk about. Ruins is one of them. That is a John D. Clear kind of trick-taking game without any suits. But you also have cards that you are putting transparent sleeve, or basically transparent sheets, in front of a static background card, kind of like a Mystic Veil, type situation. And seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm a huge John D. Clare fan.
Me too.
I think his games resonate really well with me.
He's real swell.
Real swell guy.
I will say something very funny about that, though. There is a small game store within the convention hall down near the South Market.
Mhm.
And when a friend of ours was playing this game, I believe it was the same game. I don't remember. He told me the story. It could have been something else. But he said he went down there to buy card sleeves because you couldn't play it without that, because some cards kind of overlaid other cards and it was easier to keep them together that way. And there were 3 boxes left of this whole entire wall of card sleeves because
Which is
no one
weird,
else on the floor sold card sleeves this weekend.
because card sleeves are in that box.
Oh, well, maybe it was a different game. Maybe there's just a new clever mechanic that people are taking advantage of.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. I was like, is it Ruins? Because I got
you know what?
sleeves in
It's
the
not.
box.
It's not Ruins. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
it was their neighbor behind them. I forget what the game was called.
Gotcha.
So yes, there is a parallel creation moment happening here.
That's wild.
As is so common in board games.
Yeah, it really does happen. Like, we cycle through themes and, mechanics and that. We see a lot of the same thing coming out at once. And it's inspiration. You're playtesting something and something comes to mind and, you're just like, wow, that could be cool.
It's very funny because I had a conversation with a board game designer at the creator publisher meetup mixer thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how he was creating a game about climbing mountains in Colorado. It was kind of like a love letter to his partner. And he was like, there are probably going to be some people who just like the theme doesn't work for them. It's like, but whatever. I'm making it for the reason I am, and they're just not going to like it, and that's okay. But I told him, I'm like, listen, if everybody followed the same themes, we would have 5 years of mushrooms instead of 3.
Right.
Somebody's got to make the mountain climbing game.
Yeah.
So Get out there. Make that mountain climbing game.
Make the mountain climbing game. Another all-play title that I was very excited about was Terrible Quest.
So good.
I am terrible at it, and it is spelled Tearable, as in tear in a piece of paper. And basically you have a card that comes out, and it tells you the symbols that are required to score points, and then you have a sheet of paper, and you tear out segments of paper that have those symbols on it. It is an incredibly clever little game. I've never seen anything like it. It does come with 50 sheets. If you run out of, or it's 50 of the non-advanced sheets, and then 50 of the advanced, like harder to see through, because there is a dual-sided component to it. But basically, once you're done with that, you buy another copy of the game for $10. So we got to play that later on that night, and had a lot of fun with that. That was after dinner, which we'll talk about. And the other game that I wound up grabbing from All Play was On Tour. I think that was a favorite of Ray's, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
I remember her talking about it quite a bit.
I believe so.
So I wanted to see what it was all about, so I talked to Ascadelia about that, and I will be playing that and doing a review on that, so some good stuff to look out for there. From the Capstone side of things, I will be checking out Tea Garden. It was one that I got a lot of eyes on me for walking around the convention with a copy of it. A lot of people are very excited about that game. Had a nice little lunch with Chris High. Always nice to see him. And the new head of social media for Capstone as well. So it was lovely seeing them, getting to hang out with them. That's one of my favorite ways to meet with people, is actually just go grab a bite to eat, grab some coffee. They're hungry, their feet hurt. They haven't necessarily had everything that they need to thrive in a convention setting, and it's usually pretty chill having those kinds of meetings and that. I did get to check out a few Asmodee games, and very excited, and I'm going to butcher the name of it, but the new Hobbit game, From There to Here and Back, I think it's called. It is an Office Dog release. It's basically like a roll and write in what I could best describe as like a kid's like cardboard, like heavy cardboard book. And I think it did the job really well. You're following the story of the Hobbit, and you're doing all these verb and write things, connecting, making paths and making connections, getting, the dwarves in our example play from point A to point B to get them where they need to go and scoring points, but you also need to feed them along the way. So I thought that it was a really, really cool game. I believe Marceline Lehman also did some work on that as well for development purposes. Why did that flash? That was weird. Anyways,
Maybe this truck driver's aura is so strong that it
transcended lanes.
He's been aura farming.
Another game that I am super excited about is a game called Take Time, and in that it's very akin to a game like The Mind, where you're trying to put things in order.
Yeah.
But basically in this, you have a round circle that's kind of like a clock. You have a hand that tells you where to start, and you have to get each spot in order.
Okay.
Which which seems simple enough to do. You've got a hand of cards that, you can talk about before you see the cards, where to put what. I believe there's numbers 1 through 12 that you can possibly get. Wow, that is horrifyingly
That's quite
bad.
a scent. That is quite a scent.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy moly. Where are we? Why does it smell like this?
We're in Ohio.
We're south of Ashland. More like Ashland.
Assland.
Mm-hmm. That's unique.
That was
Smells like
zesty.
I probably shouldn't say what I think.
That was quite zesty.
Smells like burnt poop.
Wow. That derailed me.
Just stun locked.
Yeah,
by
no
that
kidding.
scent.
No kidding. That was awful.
So you were talking about take time.
Yeah.
Take time to smell the stuff around you, I guess.
Really. So you've got these cards that are suited, numbered 1 through 12, suited with 2 different suits, and you're going to get some of those, and you are going to try to place them in order to complete the circle. Sounds pretty easy, but really the trick is that there's no communication after you see your cards. So that adds in a wrinkle. And there's spots on the board that actually have different requirements. So one of the spots on the board will basically only accept 1 card, or one spot needs to have exactly 3 cards. You can't put more than 3, you can't put less than 3, it has to have exactly 3. Some of the spots are between 10 and 20. So unlike the mind has a trick to it that you can use to basically defeat it. Once you know the trick, it loses a lot of its luster, in my opinion. This was definitely something that I'd love to see some decent hype around. I think that this is going to be one that is a game that people are going to wind up being to replay over and over again with different friend groups. There will be some things that you figure out a strategy, and if you played it with somebody that's played it before, you'll have some strategy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's going to be a lot of replayability with different groups as well.
I'll say I'm a big fan of games in which the variable is the people you play with.
Yep.
I think that is like truly a hallmark of a good party game.
Yep.
Is like what are the replayability factors, and usually a really solid replayability factor is the fact that it doesn't rely strictly on mechanics to be replayable. Mm-hmm. It taps into kind of the versatility and uniqueness of the people you're playing with. I think a good example of this is Monikers. I think Monikers is a great party game because really truly you can use the same deck of cards with 2 different parties of people, and they're all going to behave differently, and that's why it's fun, that sounds fun.
No, it's a blast. Like it was a lot of fun. Those 2 were basically 1 and 2 on my priority list to get review copies of. Also up there, the new Lord of the Rings game that is based off of Pandemic, which a lot of people were like, oh, when you describe a game that's akin to Pandemic, a lot of people roll their eyes. I have heard nothing but amazing things about it.
Lord of the Rings has been having a moment in this industry.
It really has. Yeah.
It's exciting.
There were a couple of other games that were up there. 7 Wonders Dice. I don't know if I necessarily need to see that.
How long are they going to milk that cow?
A long time, as much as they can.
I guess so. Hey, more power to them.
Yep.
Make that bag.
Yeah. I mean, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
There was Star Wars Battle for Hoth, which was basically a Hoth-based Memoir 44, with some different flair thrown in. Memoir 44 is not necessarily really my thing, but for those who enjoy that type of gameplay, that's definitely something that you might want to look into, especially if you're a fan of Star Wars. Also, a new edition of Love Letter.
I've been known to enjoy a Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One Star Wars.
At least one Star Wars. Okay. Love letter. Tell me more.
Love letter. Theme to Lilo and Stitch.
Don't know how I feel about that. I won't lie to you. I'm sure it's great.
It supposedly is kind of more akin to like Lovecraft's letter.
Okay.
As far as like what type of rule set it has. I haven't played it, but that's just kind of what I've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the really interesting thing is the packaging, and I think that's what really is going to set it apart. It actually comes in a plush Stitch head.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fun gimmick.
Yeah. So apparently it's not that much more to put in a plush head as opposed to just putting it in a box.
Or a fanny pack.
Or a fanny pack.
I'm just throwing it out there, y'all. Free marketing tool advice.
I also did get, they included some 2-player games in my goodie bag, to my to-go bag, so I'll be talking about those. And also a game castle from GameGenic, which I'm kind of hoping to put a lot of small box games in and be able to lug that around.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love doing that. Hey, as a quick side note, do you know what they call a fanny pack in the UK?
What do they call it?
They call it a bum bag. How fun is that?
Oh.
A bum bag.
I like that even
I
better.
kind of like it better, honestly. I'm not going to lie to you.
I like a good bum bag better.
A bum bag better. Absolutely.
My alliteration is happy.
Do you have a moment to listen to a little bit about Zoo Year's Eve?
What is Zoo Year's Eve?
It's a game from XYZ Labs.
Okay.
Very interesting. I guess it was part of a Kickstarter of small games from a few years ago that did not. I don't know if it didn't succeed. I don't remember the full story, but they were selling it, and it came in a very, very familiar-looking package. It's a very small card game, like few cards, maybe like 17, something along those lines. If you know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to, like cast aspersions. Those products,
17 or 18.
Yeah. Those products exist and like they're standardized across the industry, so it makes sense to package them in that. I'm just saying, like, kind of felt a little bit like they were chopping some flavor there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, it was cute. It was a little card game where you are dealt a hand of animals. There are a number of them in the deck. There are elephants, penguins, giraffe, lion, snake, and monkeys, and each of them are trying to go to this New Year's Eve party. Obviously, penguins get in, no prob. They're wearing a tuxedo. Of course they're getting in. Dapper as hell. Giraffes allow you to draw 2 cards, put 1 back. So, thinking coup here, right? It's got some coup elements to it.
That's some vibes.
Monkeys can only go in 2 at a time, but the secret is, the way that this works is, you're playing a card face down. You're submitting a card to the party face down. So you're saying, this is the animal that's coming to the party. And then somebody can call you on it if they want to, or play another card to interact with your animal. And it's fine. It's a fun little. Yeah. It's all right. I don't know that it's. I think again, it's going to be one of those games that it depends more on the people you're playing with.
Yeah.
Because we had that moment in all deduction games like that where no one was calling anyone out until one person did, and then it was just like nonstop.
Right.
Because if you call out and you're wrong, you got to draw cards. Obviously, the first person out wins.
Yeah.
So it was a cute little game. It was all right. Yeah. It was fun.
That sounds like fun.
I played it.
So that was here at Origins, then.
It sure was.
Yeah.
It sure was. We also played that new game from Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza called I Know You Don't.
Okay.
That one was really interesting, and I feel like I need a little more time with it. But essentially, you are dealt a hand of cards. I believe they're all numbered 1 through 10, and they all have either a taco, cat, goat cheese, or pizza on it, as usual. And the dealer has draws from a number of rules cards, and the rule changes every round, and only the dealer knows what the rule is, and everybody is submitting cards to a central discard in an order to try to determine, by deduction, what the rule is. And it's anything from, like, oh, the cards placed have to be even and odd over and over again.
Mhm.
Or, the cards have to be a certain color, or the cards have to be a certain suit, or cards, whatever. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun as a group to... I think it was nice to see a game where, like, when it's not your turn, it's still important to pay attention.
I like that.
Rather than, like, having to wait until your turn comes around and then make a new decision with the board state.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a really fun and, like, surprisingly deep game. Because, like, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, super fun. Not a whole lot to it.
Right.
Doesn't make it any less fun. But, like, that's kind of their whole thing now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you this real quick. And if anyone knows this, you do. Do you know the publishing company that makes that game?
Isn't it called Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza?
It is not. Then that's why I'm asking this question.
Oh, I do not know.
But that's a perfect example of, like, how big that game got.
Yeah.
As a result of them creating it and brilliant marketing.
Yeah.
It's Dolphin Hat Games.
Okay.
Is the name of the publishing company.
Interesting.
But we all said the same thing. We're like, oh yeah, it's a Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, people.
Right.
And
So that's how you know them.
Right. And but they did this little campaign on their Facebook where it was like, if you share a screenshot of this ad and come by the booth, we'll give you a secret prize. And the secret prize was their new card game. And it's pretty fun. It's a cute little game. I had a lot of fun with it. We only played a few rounds. I failed to go get a copy, even though I had the screenshot. I just ran out of time completely. But it'll be interesting to see, people talking about it more as it makes its way around. But
Yeah.
it's a fun another small box card game. I mean, obviously a lot more complicated than Taco Cat, but still quite a bit of fun. Kudos to them.
Yeah. I like hearing about small box card games having success. I think that's always great.
I agree. I agree.
I like the small footprint. You don't always need to have a big box and a big footprint to have a lot of fun.
Nah. Can I tell you about another wonderful surprise that I encountered this weekend?
Sure.
Awesome. So, the one that I'm going to talk about is a game called Witch's Quarrel.
Oh, yeah.
And it's by Rakshasa Games. I met Shanti, the designer, at the meetup. The little, like, creator publisher meetup thing I went to.
Mm-hmm.
Shanti's just one person who developed this game. You are playing as two best friends who have discovered that they have witches' powers. Don't know how to wield them, so they do what anyone would do and start flinging spells at each other.
Mm-hmm.
You are playing as these two young girls who are coming into their own power, and the way that is like kind of emulated in the game is that it's a legacy deck builder. So you have 36 different envelopes in the game that you open and play with as players. Different envelopes and different choices that you make with that deck builder will put you in different directions, different spells, and like help you build that deck. And like one of the more unique aspects of it that I've really enjoyed was that you don't start with a rule book, you start with the first three envelopes. So kind of mimicking, if you learned magic tomorrow, like what kind of actions would you need to pursue in order to learn the magic? So you're like actively learning the game as you're playing it, which I thought was a really clever idea.
Yeah.
And my other favorite part about it is that this Kickstarter started 2 days ago, and he funded at the con, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he just got over 10,000 last night while we were at the event. I just checked while we've been talking here, and he's already at 12,000, which
Sweet.
is so cool. It's so cool to see a new first-time designer, on the scene and having so many people put so much faith in something like this.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy. And like, we have talked a lot about, not on the show, but you and I have talked a lot off the show about how it was a very different origins because there were a lot of big names that weren't there.
Yep.
But I do like how it makes space for people like this.
And it does sound like a lot of the smaller publishers were able to get some more traffic because of it.
Yes,
which is great.
absolutely. I love to see that. I mean, obviously you need the bigger publishers there in order to like, I don't know. There's an attraction level that I think that like is for the public in that case. I think, and we don't need to go into this super detail. I think part of the problem is Origins doesn't really know what it is.
Yeah.
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 It's part trade show, it's part exhibition, it's part everything, you know.
And I think I'm going to ask us to get back to that at the end of
For
the
sure,
show,
for sure.
because I do want to talk about that.
But yeah, no, Witch's Quarrel, the Kickstarter is going on for another 27 days, so I'm really, 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 truly excited to see, you know, how well this goes. I literally was just looking at the Kickstarter, and I thought it was so charming because the creator, again, Shanti is his name, was responding to comments on there. Someone was talking about how the only difference between like the base and the deluxe version of the game are wax seals on the envelope, and they were like, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a good reason to have to spend $80. And Shanti literally responded, he's like, I'm going to be hand applying all of these wax seals.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he's like, I don't know, it's like something I put in there, and I'm like, honestly, I like to see that. I like to see that transparency, because there's so many situations in which a Kickstarter overpromises, and how many times have we seen Kickstarters fail to deliver?
Yep.
Even on simple promises, because the scope just gets out of hand. Like, we talk about scope creep when it comes to developing, right? But I feel like scope creep is ignored when it's in the context of a Kickstarter, but it's the exact same thing, you know? So anyway, I just was really charmed by that. He then responded later again, saying like, this gave me an idea. Like, here's a way to kind of like add to this. And he's like, because I'll be sealing all of these by hand, if you wanted me to put like a personalized message in there, I could do that.
Oh.
By hand, like, and make it look like the script from the game and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, there's something so charming about that, and something so special about that still being possible in this industry, because I think that's part of the beauty of it, is we do have these really awesome mass-produced games that are a lot of fun, and they're like little cultural revolutions in the space, like Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. But we also have space for someone like Shanti, an individual person who can make this like ambitious but very, very cool game, get the support that he needs, and also, you know, have a booth at a small con like Origins, and like have that be what pushed him over the edge for the Kickstarter. I just think that's really fascinating. And I know I was just going to talk about the game, but it's just very exciting to me.
No, and that really is the magic of like a small publisher being able to thrive and be successful.
Completely.
So I love to see that. Speaking of small publishers, I did get to have a meeting with a couple of folks from Lightning Lake Games. They have a trick-taking game that is going to be coming to crowdfunding in September, called Breakers. And they've got basically all these monsters that you're going to try to win tricks or lose tricks in a different way to fight these monsters. And each one that comes out, you need to fight in a different way. So it has a different win condition, different trump suits, things like that. It looks pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be a very interesting game. The artist who did the art for all the different monster characters was Magic the Gathering artist, who did some very impressive work. I like what I see already. So it should be interesting to see where they wind up. So I'll probably be talking with them as the Kickstarter comes to light. But they reached out to me, and that's one of those things that when a small publisher reaches out and I like the look of what they're looking to do, I always try to take time when I can to meet up with them.
Love that.
I also got to meet up with Seppi Yoon, and he is doing some work for Floodgate now, and I got to play Hedge Mage, which was a really interesting game. Part of the gnome craze, which I thought we were at the end of, but apparently we're still in.
Well, we're just getting started.
We're just getting started with the gnomes. So that was a very interesting game. You're trying to get the gnomes, basically capture gnomes off of your neighbor's board to the right, so you're controlling movement on somebody else's board. It's a very, you're putting up your board, you're trying to put up obstacles to stop your neighbor from stealing the gnomes off your board. But you're only controlling, other than that, that's the only control that you have over your own board. But your neighbors have, like, these, kind of talisman or, like, big carriers that you can put gnomes into and move them around.
Mm-hmm.
And they start off sleeping, and they have different conditions for awakening. So if you awaken them, you're able to go and put them into the gnome hole, as we
put them in the gnome hole.
You got to put them in the gnome hole. So they go into the gnome hole, and then you score them, and you get a little bonus for doing that as well, in addition to points. The movement of the gnomes and, like, your big, talisman or pillars or whatever, is dependent on the hedges that you put down, and they're all kind of like the advanced Tetris shapes.
And like the Cleveland Z?
Like the Cleveland Z. And basically the vertical and horizontal overlap, because you're placing these on a grid, with the other symbols for movement in that column and row is what you're going to be moving your piece around. So it's a lot simpler to see on a board than for me to explain it to you. So if you look up Hedge Mage, that will make a lot more sense to you. But a really interesting game. I'd love to play it again. I had a really good time playing it. It was done in pretty much an hour. So that was cool. And then after I got done with that, we went and got some Indian food with one of Allie's coworkers. That we went and got some really good Indian at Haveli Bistro. I got a fantastic biryani that burned my mouth, which is just the way that I ordered it. That was good. We got to play a couple games that night, and I'm going to circle back to Thursday after this, and then we'll get into Saturday. But played Moonbase Bloodbath.
I'm sad I didn't get the chance to play that.
I live 20 minutes away, and I know that we keep saying that, but we need to get that to the table.
Yeah.
It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I do need to do a review on it now that I've had a couple of plays on it. I will be doing a more formal review of it. I really happen to like it. I like games like that. I like games like Empire's End, where you're trying to basically deal with the destruction of an engine that you have, and you're trying to mitigate everything as best you can. I think that it's a very fascinating concept. Empire's End, you had a massive engine that you were only trying to basically mitigate that destruction. This game, you're trying to build up an engine, and then you're seeing it destroyed as well. So
kind of feels like real life.
Yeah, it really does. It's like, let me hold on as long as I can.
Yeah, both micro and macro level.
Yeah, it's deep. I really love the art. Again, the art, the whole game is not going to be for everybody, and I think there's bits and pieces that some people aren't going to like. Some people aren't going to like having the stress of mitigating that, bad thing from happening. I think the other thing is that people aren't necessarily going to like the artwork in some circumstances. I like it. It's a very 50s sci-fi retro vibe, where they're making robots with, like, KitchenAid blenders and stuff like that.
We talking like kind of like It's a Wonderful World sort of vibe? Or more like a Fallout kind of vibe?
More like a Fallout kind of vibe.
Okay.
It's Fallout in space.
I get behind that.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was that we played. We also played Terrible Quest. So we had a lot of fun with that, and then we adjourned for the night. I would be very remiss if I didn't talk about what actually happened on Thursday night, and that was the Tabletop Gamers event. And what a lot of fun.
That was a blast.
That event was. And
That
it
was a blast.
very well put together. For those who don't know, it was the Tabletop Gamers 10th anniversary this year. They've been doing some fantastic work, for the community, making sure that people have access to ribbons and safe places to game at conventions. They've been doing a lot of work at a lot of different conventions, and they are expanding that work, and it's much needed right now.
They did a brief recap during the event of like how, the humble beginnings that they started from, and I was just like really tickled and like surprised to hear that the way that it started was those ribbons.
Yep.
Like it really was as simple and humble as that. They started by handing out those ribbons, and it just sort of it went so well that they just sort of built it from there.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really cool.
And I mean, I have memories, and I think that is one thing that they asked on the survey. Do you have any fond memories of, Tabletop Gamers? I know Jamie and I did some panels, Trans 101, Ally 101, that kind of thing at Gen Con, at Origins. And it was really amazing to have those conversations with people, and some people got it, and they knew, and then some people, I remember the one guy who basically said, I don't know anything about this community, but I also know that if I don't educate myself, that I'm gonna lose people at my table. And that had a really profound impact on me. Like, the more that I thought about it, the more that it was like, wow.
I will say too, at the time, I don't think either of us recognized it as such, but it was such a privilege to get to do that before everything that's going on now.
Yeah.
I feel like if, obviously not so much in the tabletop community, but like on some fundamental level, it would be harder to do that, considering the current, circumstances.
Yep.
So I think it's kind of cool that we got to do that before it was like as, I guess, divisive.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, whatever, you know how we feel about that.
Yeah. If you're listening to the show, you probably fit into a certain camp. So I definitely did mention that. That was one of my fond memories. But what a fantastic event! We got some good food. They had drag bingo.
Yep.
With a fantastic drag queen, great entertainer. Allie won a copy of Catan, or however you pronounce it. Multiple people at our table won. I think Patrick won. I think Charlotte won.
Yep. Lady Baba was there.
Lady Baba.
The Catan sheep.
Yeah. I love Lady Baba.
That was good. It was fun. It was a very good event.
She's a good sheep. But yeah, just great vibes. I mean, everybody in the room was somebody that you would want to talk to.
Yep.
Got to meet, I think I had met award-winning game designer Peter Yang beforehand, but definitely got to refresh.
That was my first time meeting Peter, and I ran into him so many times after that.
Yeah.
It was such a delight. What a sweet guy.
I was standing by the Chip Theory booth today, and I said, "Look, it's award-winning game designer Peter Yang," and he just smiled.
He told us at the table he was very vulnerable with us about how, and I completely empathize with this.
Yep.
How difficult it is to advocate for yourself, even in small ways like that, where it's you're talking about your achievements, even in small ways where you can kind of acknowledge those, to kind of give somebody the social cue as to like who you are and why it's important, and especially in a space like ours, where no one is going to do that for you, and also we're encouraged to not take up space. It was a conversation that we talked about kind of in jest, but we were all very serious about the fact that like it's difficult to take up space as minority people, but it's so important,
Yeah.
I had and still have a little small part of me that like kind of cringes a little bit when people talk about the fact that I'm an award-winning painter, but
it's
objectively provable,
Yeah.
And that, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I was going for.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Peter and I had a moment where we decided we'd keep each other honest about it. So I kept reminding him as the con went on that he. I actually didn't need to remind him. He told me he was doing it all weekend. So we
Awesome.
We had an impact
Awesome.
on award-winning game designer Peter Yang.
I am very happy about doing that. So yeah, I mean that was such a fantastic time, and thanks to
Super
the tabletop gamers for including us.
Hey, nobody throws a party quite like the gays.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it really was a highlight of the convention for me, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting into Saturday. Let me see. Today is Sunday. Did I do Saturday?
While you're thinking, can I tell you a little something about what I was not party to, but occurred on Saturday night?
What was that?
That I'm really mad I wasn't in attendance for.
Yeah.
So the mini painting people that I spend time with at this con don't often mingle with the board game people.
Mm-hmm.
Not for lack of trying. They're not the ones to come and sit down and play a game because they're there for the mini painting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't walk between worlds as I do.
Right.
Nevertheless, they had their own event, their own little thing that they were doing that night, and turned out two of them brought TENS units. Are you familiar with what a TENS unit is?
Oh God, yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, a TENS unit is a small electrical device that you use to sort of stimulate muscles on your body, and it provides some sort of relief. I don't know if it's like actually like homeopathic or if it's like an actual, but whatever. There are people who definitely get something out of it. And it was one of these people is a streamer who does a lot of things for charity and has found that like through his suffering, people are more likely to donate. And so at one point he used the TENS unit on his stream while he was trying to paint. And the TENS unit will make your muscle like flex involuntarily, and so they connected the TENS unit, each one to a different hand of someone who was trying to paint a mini, and then intermittently activated the TENS unit while they were trying to paint. And they each took turns going around the table trying to paint it as they would turn it on without any warning whatsoever.
Wow.
And there was some video of it where Sean is like interviewing the person painting and just sort of like being very like, you know, like. And his delivery was just so dry and like talking about how important it is to, you know, maintain a good posture and like, you know, like anchor your elbows on the table to keep your, you know, your hands steady and stuff. And meanwhile, this guy's like almost throwing his brush across the room because his hands are sort of like tensing up at the wrong moments. And man, I really wish I was there for it, but
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds so funny.
Would you like to borrow mine for your stream?
Yeah, maybe someday.
We need to see this.
It'd be a fun way to connect it to chat and let them, let them control it.
Yeah.
I'd do it for charity.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be very fun.
So I am talking about Saturday now. I figured it out. KTBG, the big thing to note is River Market, Roberta Taylor's newest. It's a Rondell game. Probably the easiest Rondell game that I've played. Very straightforward, very easy to grasp. Still in the kind of mid to late stages of development. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. For Sean said that was his favorite of the series so far. So that's pretty high praise. I got to play a few rounds of it. I didn't get to play a full game. But it's super straightforward. If you like creature comforts, this is going to be another one for you in that universe as well.
I'll have to give it a go. I'm a big fan of both creature comforts and
Maple Valley.
Yeah, Maple Valley.
Yeah, both great games.
Both my first KTBG games too.
Yeah,
big fan.
And by a great human, Roberta Taylor.
100%.
Also missed.
Again, not a bad one in the bunch. I'll tell you what.
At least in the circles we run in.
Definitely not KTBG.
That's right.
As I say every time we record one of these and I'm present, KTPG doesn't miss.
They don't miss.
They don't miss.
They don't miss.
The other thing is I will be doing a review of How to Save a World. I am very much looking forward to that when my copy comes in. It's a game that I played for the first time as a demo in 2023 at PAX Unplugged at a media event, and got a little demo by the designer of the game, and really looking forward to playing that as well and seeing the finished version of that. So yeah, that was KTBG. I did have another meeting with another company that put out a few different games. They are an upstart. I'm trying to remember the name of them, but I will include that in the show notes when I get back. They have a game called Trinket Trove, I believe it is, and it's a set collection game where you're trying to bid on little trinkets that you are not only using to complete your sets, but you're also using to bid on these other trinkets as well. So very clever little game. It looks really cute. Very adorable artwork by Sandara Tang, who is responsible for Flamecraft, the art on that. So I'm looking forward to checking that out at some point when that comes out. In addition to that, I also had a discussion with Bezier Games and a little bit more deep into the lore with Jay about the design of the game makers. In addition, some little things about Rebel Princess, a favorite of mine. I love that game. I also got the expansion, which I need to do a video on this expansion packaging. It's so incredibly cute. It's like a little children's book that they stored the new princesses in, the new cards. It fits right directly into the box, which we love to see. We absolutely love to see that. Great packaging is definitely a big thing for me.
Totally.
Huge.
It's not a non-negotiable, but I don't know. I judge them a little if they make me keep a separate box for a little expansion or add-on like that.
Yeah.
Judge them a little bit.
A little tiny bit. So that was cool. Got to walk around, do a couple of demos, walk around and talk to some people as well yesterday. So that was great. Saw a few things I will be posting about as well. But I also ended the day, we were originally going to go have dinner with Sean and Helena from KTBG and catch up with them. But unfortunately, we were all tired. And sometimes you just don't have the spoons to go to dinner. You need time. They were at the mixer and just not feeling it, and we completely understand that.
They weren't feeling up to dinner. They weren't not feeling the mixer.
Exactly. So that was a big thing. We were also originally going to go to Ascadelia's birthday party, but unfortunately, actually, it was unfortunate that we missed that, but it was for good reason. And I started learning Molly House at about 5 o'clock, and Allie took a nap and watched Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives back at the hotel. And after that, after 4 hours of playing and learning Molly House, Marceline Lehman and I finished our game. And it was a fantastic experience. I did post about it. I don't want to say too much because it is a game that I'm actually planning on putting a video out for. I feel like it deserves it. I talked to Drew Worley today about it, and I told him that it is a game that is worthy of a video. I do 2 or 3 a year on games that I'm really trying to get a little bit more in depth about than just a standard podcast. And I feel like the theme and the production on this was really, really good. And there's a lot of conversation that you can have about this game. But I think it was something that was very special, especially for Marceline and I to experience for the first time together. It's a game about queer joy, and now more than ever, we need games that talk about these subjects and that, really in our lives. And I think that Whirligig did a great job of, really treating the subject matter with the respect that it deserved. I don't want to go too much into it, but, a very special moment playing that with Marceline. One thing that Allie did mention is that we did get pizza from Mikey's a second time. Allie was gracious enough to bring me pizza during my gaming session, which was lovely.
I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I really did want Mikey's twice, and I didn't go get it today. I should
I
have.
also brought it for Marceline.
Yeah. Yep.
Listen.
Leave her out.
We did not leave Marceline out. Marceline also had a little bit of garlic bread and some za with us.
Yeah,
and Marceline brought great chocolate
Oh, that
as well.
chocolate was so good.
I'm just gonna look past the fact that you didn't bring it for me. It's fine. It's all good.
You weren't there?
No, I know.
Arwen ate your piece.
I did
Arwen.
eat your piece.
In Pride Month.
Yeah. Yeah. Hate
Jeez.
crime. Hate crime.
But it cancels out.
Yeah.
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 You're
Exactly.
clever. That's clever.
Exactly. See?
Just playing by the rules.
That's what I gotta do. It's a cold world out there. So yeah, that was it was a lovely night. Really glad that I got to partake in that. And again, Marceline, fantastic designer, up and coming. I feel like High Tide is definitely one that got a lot of buzz for her, but she's got some great designs in the hopper. I'm very excited for people to see more of her work because I think it's very, very good. So then we went to bed because while we packed and we watched Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and basically.
Do you feel like the demographic for people who watch that is just people in hotels at this point?
I feel like it's mostly people in hotels and like people over the age of 75.
It's fair. They like to see the funny blonde man on Food Network.
Oh, that fun, nice blonde man. He's kind of crazy with his hair.
Yes.
And then today, walked around, said goodbyes. It was a mad dash to get out of the hotel and get Allie to work on time. I did get to walk around and say a lot of goodbyes and talk with a lot of people. Unfortunately, I won't be at Gen Con, so today was kind of like the long goodbye until PAX for most people. But yeah, I did get to hang out a little bit at the Placeholder Games booth and demo a couple of games. The first one was Campfire, and that was a really interesting game. I thought, especially for something that's, it's a variant of Rummy.
Yep.
But I really liked the production value on it. I thought that they did a great job with that. And the rules are super simple, super easy to teach. And I thought, for a special 6-suited deck of cards, eight suited, because you can play it with up to 6 people. I thought that it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In addition, we got to play
Crime Guys.
Crime Guys.
The crime game.
The crime game. Crime Pals.
My favorite part about it real quick.
Yeah.
Was that all weekend, the way that they were getting people to come demo Crime Guys was just like surreptitiously walking up to people who were coming by the booth and going, "You like crime?"
Yep. they did that to me too.
They were having a lot of fun with it.
And they let you do that even after feeding them to Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is in and of itself a crime. To Carlos, I mean.
I beg to differ, but I thought that was fun. It's still in development. They're still working on it and still taking feedback, but I thought that it was a very solid game. Really tight worker placement.
Oh, yeah.
Some polyomino depth to it.
Got some Cleveland C's in there.
Got some Cleveland C's. Some Louis.
Some sweet Louis, some chip bag Russells.
Yep, chip bag
Got
Russells.
a couple of those in there.
Salty Mollies.
Absolutely can't forget the salty Molly.
Can't forget the Salty Molly.
The Alabama Slim.
Yeah. But I was very excited for that. I could definitely see myself picking that one up as well. When that's finished, I'd love to play a finished version of that.
It's been very cool to watch the development of that as it's come together. When I visited our friend Thomas up in the great land of Seattle last year, it was still not very new, but it was still very much in development. It still is, of course, but it was just kind of cool to see how that has evolved over time.
Yeah.
So they're doing a good job over there. Did you know I inadvertently named placeholder games?
Really?
This isn't a joke. I know it sounded like a bit. But yeah, our friend Thomas was talking about wanting to put together a studio to publish Campfire, because he's had the idea for a while. And he brought together the right people to make it happen, started working on it, and he was like, we should have a Discord for our game studio, our as yet unnamed game studio. And he's like, but I don't really know how to put together a Discord well. And I said, well, I do. I can do that for you. Eager to help, and I was like, but I need to name it. So, like, what do you want me to put on there? He's like, well, I don't know. We haven't named it yet. And I said, okay, I'll just call it I'll just put a placeholder. I said, just put placeholder name games. And they before I knew it, they dropped the name portion of the name, and now it's placeholder games. And their little tagline is, make sure to keep a place for us on your shelf.
I love that.
Super cute.
Love that.
Super cute.
Absolutely adorable.
Very fun.
Yeah, it was really cool playing with them. I got to swing around and pick up the last of my review copies and a couple of games that I bought for myself as well. I picked up God, I'm trying to it's been a long day, folks.
Tea Garden. You had in your game.
Yep. I picked up Tea Garden Video Game Champion from Arcane Wonders. Looking forward to that. I picked on Neon Rain, which is by Chip Theory and Manny Tremblay's adjunct spin-off kind of studio through them. Really cool arcade game, and while I was waiting for Allie to be done with teardown of the booth, I got to play a round of that solo. It does play super smooth solo once you know what's going on, and I'm looking forward to more of that. There's a lot in that box, and probably quite a bit of room for expansion content as well.
You'd love to see it. Chip Theory's always really good about that.
And the smell of their cards, by the way, is just amazing. These tires are...
What is that?
It's got to be tire or something, or road. It very well may be tires.
Are the tires new?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new car, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's not great. But who knows?
Who knows?
So yeah, then we popped in the car and we're talking to y'all, so.
I went to Hectic Electron and got the starter guide for the 5 Gods.
You did.
Friend of the channel.
Friend of the channel, Chris Sellers.
I met Chris this weekend.
Chris is a wonderful
What a
human being. I did get to swing by and say hi, and we chatted for a hot minute. Yeah. I mean, it was a really good weekend, and as we, approach our last 15 minutes of the episode, because
Last 15 minutes of the drive.
it's the last 15 minutes of the drive, and as we wrap up, I did want to talk about the convention as a whole, and kind of circle back to that point of, where Origins fits in. This is wild with these tires. Maybe it's just like I don't want to go a certain speed, and I was going a certain speed. Origins is a weird one. It really is. When I started going back in 2016, it was very much kind of like a Gen Con. This is what's coming out, and we're going to sell you some stuff early.
Pretty much.
And that was kind of the fallout from Gen Con moving dates, where I think it was much later in the year originally. And, Origins is kind of contracted. There's been a little bit of expansion. I feel like it's kind of contracting again. But again, it's kind of the kind of show where maybe we're starting to see some of the smaller, newer companies come in and be able to have some space and have some success.
Yep.
Where they'd kind of get lost in the shuffle at some place like Gen Con.
Totally. And it's like I said earlier about Rakshasa games and like the Witch's Quarrel game. How cool it is to see somebody like that thrive in a space like this. You know? Again, it's not that they couldn't before or that they wouldn't, like with the bigger publishers there, but it just feels like the focus is a little bit more easy to put on small games like that when there's a little more oxygen in the room. You know, there's nothing wrong with having the big studios there, but it's just nice to see a space for something, a smaller indie project to thrive like that.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, and I think that's what the industry is really all about anyways, right? It's about people that are passionate about making games and getting them out there, being able to do that. Whether that's through a major publisher and they get the widespread distribution, or they go to a small convention and they are the only ones that are running their booth and they're putting their product out and they're getting it out there.
A little plucky game designer,
Yeah.
We love that kind of story.
Yep. Absolutely love to support that. As far as how well the convention was run, there were definitely a few opportunities. I feel like a lot of the communications with the media is still needing to be improved. A lot of that does wind up being, kind of the turnover. We did see the former media and events coordinator basically leave Gamma after Gamma happened, and we really didn't hear anything about Origins for quite a while. After which time we said, oh yeah, you got a badge, which is great, okay, I can plan. But we didn't find out anything about the media first look until the Friday before. And I think that's really an opportunity. Again, you have people there coming in from out of town. Give them some time to plan. Give them some time to coordinate. I will say I thought that the first look was pretty well run. It had a good turnout. There was room to move around and see things. Get to talk to some of those smaller publishers as well. I had a nice mix of the bigger publishers and the smaller publishers. So I thought it was good from that perspective. I thought the volunteers did a great job. That's a tough job to ask people to do. As far as coordinating all of that with the attendees. Any thoughts from you, Jamie, on how it was run?
I obviously didn't go to First Look, but from the smaller events that we went to, again, I think a lot of that is not necessarily thanks to Gamma, but I mean they definitely make the space for it, which is nice. It's thanks to the really, really passionate people that run these events and their expertise. I didn't realize that the creator publisher meetup that I went to last night was put together in 3 weeks, and
Wow.
we had quite a few people. I think throughout the whole night, almost 150 people made their way in and out of that room.
Wow.
From what I understand. I didn't really mention the method by which they were running that event, but I thought it was pretty clever. Anyone who is like a creator or producer had a blue wristband, and anyone who was a publisher or somebody who could hire those people had a red one, and it just kind of encouraged us all to talk, and it was really nice. And so all that to say that even if Gamma isn't necessarily the one that is creating these events, they are definitely holding space for it, and I think that's really nice.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Also some work that's being done with the I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's like a inclusion award.
Yes, the Inspiration Award.
The Inspiration Award.
Yep.
For people who are kind of leading the charge as far as trying to make the hobby a more inclusive space. This is an award that is going to be a kind of official award given by Gamma as well. So, there is it's always something that I think Gamma is trying, and there are things that are being done. It's just kind of the thing that I think there would be a huge benefit for a little bit more continuity if they can make that happen, and not have conditions that lead to turnover. So I think that's one thing after this that I really want to look for and hope that they can put together.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to see a more sincere attempt at stewardship of like concepts that they're trying to implement over periods of time, because I know that people aren't going to stay in a role forever. They're not going to stay on the board forever. But I think those interests don't change as often as the people in those positions do. And so there should be some, I think, effort to maintain the intent and direction of those decisions, over time.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, overall, I think a very successful Origins. I would definitely recommend it for people who kind of want a nice mix of vendors and the opportunity to play games as well. A lot of really good length demos, if not full plays of games at the booths themselves, where you don't have to schedule that time. Some of the booths you had to, some of the more popular games, but you did get to have some of those sit-down sessions as well, which was much appreciated. Because you don't get to do that at Gen Con. I think that's one thing that really can separate Origins from Gen Con.
Yeah, and I think it's just I've always been a big fan of Origins conceptually, because I think it's our home con, which is really fun.
Yep.
But I also think that it does provide opportunities for those more sincere and I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, more intimate situations like that.
Yeah, more meaningful.
Yeah, I would say it feels like, from what I understand, I didn't get to attend a lot of these older cons, but from what people speak, so fondly of cons before they became this really cultural event, it sounds a lot like what the good old days were like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more reminiscent of what I was doing in 2016.
Yeah.
Which was cool to see more of a return to form than that. So. Well, with 4 minutes left, I have to ask my fiance, who's sitting in the back,
old chick bag
rustler, if she has any thoughts.
had a great time. It was a nice chill con. Gen Con is always very stressful for me, very overwhelming. I love a chill con like Gamma or Origins, just to get us ready for con season.
Yep.
Yeah. This would be a really short podcast if Allie did it.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah, speaking of con season, the next convention that you can check me out at is not going to be Gen Con. I will not be going, and I was told by some people there that they were kind of jealous that I wasn't going. They would rather be in my place. But you can catch us at Grand Con. Both Allie and I are going to be at Grand Con up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Towards the end of August, I did get to meet the founder of Grand Con this weekend, Brian, fantastic human being. Really looking forward to going up there for the first time. Basically, Mick told Allie that we were going, and now we're going. So,
Who am I to tell Mick no?
who are you to tell Mick no? That is true. So anyways, for this car ride, it is over. If you want to know more about Cardboard Time, you can always go to the website at cardboardtime.com. You can email me at cardboardtime@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, or ideas for discussion topics. Also, the Discord, you can always email me or go to the website for that invite. Jamie, throw out your socials, please.
You betcha. You can find me anywhere online at Jamie Daggers, or you can go to daggers.tv and check out my Twitch channel. I stream there Tuesday through Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, usually mini painting, but a lot of board game content there too. Especially coming soon. I actually had a lot of conversations with people in the industry this weekend, about getting some more games onto the show. So go check that out there. I live on Instagram pretty much, so Jamie Daggers over there too. And here, occasionally, on the Cardboard Time podcast.
And we always love having you.
I love being here.
And Allie.
T-minus 1 minute until we see Charles.
Oh, the baby. We gave out Charlie stickers. Be jealous if you were not there and did not get a Charlie sticker.
I know I got one.
If you reach out, maybe I'll send you one. Maybe.
Maybe.
So that is it for us. Tune in 2 weeks after I recover from this week of board games on the next episode of Cardboard Time.